to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by Ben J. Nassim, Patrick Price, a.k.a. Aches, and of course the one and only Chris Duarte, a.k.a. Parasite. Atlanta Faze take home the championship this weekend. It is our last day here in Boston. Championship Sunday was a good day, guys. It was a very good day. How'd you guys feel about the matches today?
After the whole 3-0 bonanza from earlier this weekend, today was a great set of matches. Probably one of the best finals we've had.
We fucking did it to me!
Okay.
Dude, what is
We're mid-show. Relax.
All right, Gersh is twisted. Anyway, great day of matches, and unfortunately, I will be bald at some point shortly. So, shout out to Atlanta Faze for winning.
You will be completely bald.
But yeah, we want to just hop into it and go through all the matches.
Yeah,
and
we're going to hop into it. For those of you that don't know.
No, before we do matches, hold on, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That was his idea.
I'm sorry. No, my bad. Because we should talk about Zin first before we do the matches. We should give Zin top of show.
Yeah, I was going to get there. I got it.
You got it in the middle? We should do it at the top.
Well, I was just going in order because
No,
they did
do
it
it at
after
the top.
the first series.
Give Zin
But
the top.
yeah, I mean, I do want to give a huge shout out to my man Zinni, man. My man Methodz. Obviously, he had an incredible career. We all love Tony, man. He's been around for a really long time. Not just playing, but also just being such a great personality to the scene. I thought he had an incredible career, and, it was very sad to see him get up on stage and announce his retirement. But I think it's a bright future for Zinni. I think he's got a lot ahead of him, and I think he's going to do amazing things, in content or in wherever. He did say the future looks green, so I think we all know where he might be going. But
he's a natural, bro.
That's my guy right there, bro, and I want to see that guy do really well, man. So shout out to my man Anthony Zinni, a.k.a. Methodz, and shout out to his family as well, because they were also here this weekend. They stopped by the couch a couple times, and, they got a great family, man. So shout out to Zinni. Anything you guys want to say to Tony, who took a step back today and retired in his playing career?
I mean, just much love to that guy. He had an incredible career. I've known him since he was a little kid, and, it's great to see how much he's grown, how much he's changed as a person. He's matured, and he's a natural, man. Like, he's nothing but a lovable person. He's a good friend, and, he's going to be great at whatever he does.
You got to think, he's truly hand of the king.
You
He retired and he went out a few weeks later.
I handed a king.
After losing to OpTic, which is unfortunate. But, I think for Zin, man, Zin is one of the fortunate people that, whilst we talk about his playing accomplishments, he's someone that's done a good job building his brand, his identity. So I think whatever his next step is, let's just be honest, it's probably going to OpTic.
That's what I would guess.
I think he's going to crush it. Zin City is going to be back and thriving. Skyscrapers and all. So excited for what's next for Zin. I know he came on our set earlier and said how hard it was to do this, how hard it was to do this speech. Like his parents were like halfway back home, and when he decided he was to do the speech and had them turn around and be here. So shout out Zin, shout out a great career, and excited to see what's next.
Yeah, man, he's gonna kill in whatever he does next, man. Shout out to Tony, man. Shout out to my man Chef Tony. He's gonna be doing a lot of great work wherever he decides to do. But we had a long day at COD today, a lot of matches, and to start things off, we had the winners final today. We had Atlanta Faze going up against the Minnesota RØKKR. This one went all the way down to a last map where RØKKR was up 5-3 and ended up tossing that one away to Atlanta Faze. What do you think happened to RØKKR today? What do you think went wrong? Atlanta Faze just absolutely clutched up today.
I mean, I just think it's the first game of the day, and, at that point, it's a fresh start for everybody. Minnesota played really well this weekend in general. I think they answered a lot of the questions that we had about this team, whether they can fix up their hard point, whether they can, start up in series and not, just starting off series flat, right? And they took Atlanta Faze to the brink. They arguably played them the best the entire way, and, they just couldn't clutch up on the final game. But, shout out to Ben, Bance, shout out to Afro. They played incredibly well the entire tournament.
They've been insane.
Bance, dude, I can't wait to see how that guy plays in the future because as an old head, right? Like he kind of gives some of these players hope, and dude, it doesn't matter how old you get and stuff like that. You can always play at that high level. You never lose it. So, good on Ben Bance, absolute legend.
100%, Pat. What did you think? Taking a look at the stats here, looks like you can see Afro with a 1.05. The rest of them negative, but I definitely think Afro and Bance were star players for these guys.
I appreciate all your guys' positive sentiment toward the RØKKR, but I personally think this was an overperformance. I don't know if we're going to see this RØKKR again. I think Afro played insanely well. Bance had some insane series all weekend long. So I'm interested to see what Stage 3 is going to look like for them, especially when they go back online, to see if they can keep this form or fall back into the woes they've had for the last two majors. So, but otherwise, I think they played really good. obviously took the champions to basically the brink, right? It could have went either way in this winter final.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really curious. I don't know if I believe everything we saw this weekend, if this is going to be a consistent performance out of them. I don't know if they're a top 3
What do
team.
you think, Ben? You agree with that or no?
I mean, listen. I don't. It's going to be hard for anyone to be a consistent top 3
Except
team,
for Faze.
Except for Faze, and we'll get to him later on this show. I will say, I was someone that I think was asking a lot of questions about the RØKKR after Major 1. They didn't look amazing. And you know what a weird turning point in this entire major cycle for them was? That dinner they went out to where they all got food poisoning, came back, went down 0-2 in that series. I forget who they were playing, and they reverse swept. Since then, they've been on form since that. And I think these are really good top 3 for them. We've talked time and time again about how hard it is to qualify for champs, how tight it is. These are big points for them. I don't think, Pat, they're going to be a consistent top 3 team, but I think they're going to be a good team. Now, can they improve with some of the icier things? I know Cammy and Bance don't have a great record against Faze, for example, in these situations.
But even outside of their records, like Bance, do you see Bance and Afro dropping 1.6s again? Like
I see Afro doing it all season. That guy's
Afro's
I don't
really
know if I
good.
see them consistently doing that, and I feel like if they don't do that, there's no way they make the run to major
this game is perfect.
Cammy's not good enough on this team right now. He's not as good as he should
Cam's
be.
got to step it up.
And honestly, Dill needs to step it up too. I think they both do.
No,
Dill's not playing at the performance Cam is, but I think Dill should be better on this team as well.
They're playing 5, and I think this game suits Ben's style. Like with how fast TTK is, he plays those weird credit angles. He's so good at readdressing. He's obviously using the lack of red dots to his advantage in the way that he plays. And I think Ben's going to be good for a minute. I don't think he's going to fall off.
What do you think, Chris?
just saying
Who do you agree with here?
I mean, it's
tough,
hard.
man.
It's
It's
hard to
hard.
call, but at the end of the day, I mean, they showed up. They did what they needed to do, and as for the 1.6s, man, I don't know. We had a day on Saturday where everyone on that left side of the station was dropping a 1.6.
Yeah, that
That's
was
what
a
I'm
little
saying. It was
weird.
just an anomaly
1.3,
day.
1.5.
Anomaly day.
I don't know. This event was crazy, but I mean, yeah, shout out to RØKKR.
And that's what happens,
they
right?
played
When you come to a major like this, a tournament on land. I mean, with how much talent is in a league, you don't know who's going to kick up on a given weekend.
Yeah.
So every weekend you go into it, you wonder who's going to be that guy to step up. And I definitely think for me that was Bance for Minnesota RØKKR. I thought they had a great run. I don't think it was an anomaly, but I think they're talented players. They've been there before. They've been playing in this league for a long time, so it doesn't surprise me that this weekend they kicked up and they got themselves a good placing this weekend. So they end up falling to Atlanta Faze. Again, they get bumped down to losers. We'll talk about their next match in just a sec. But then we go into the losers semifinal. This was between OpTic Texas and the Los Angeles Thieves. We'll take a look at the stats and see what's going on. But, Chris, why don't you kick things off? What did you think about OpTic Texas today? They fall short to LAT.
I mean, I think they had a lot of opportunities in this series to actually close out a couple maps. Specifically, I'm thinking about the Embassy hardpoint. That came down to, such small plays. I think there was a big point in that series where I thought OpTic was going to put it away, but it was some clutch kills by Kenny, climbing up the ladder and such, where they just ended up coming away. And I thought if this went map 5, I had a feeling that OpTic was probably going to win, but
You're thinking about the Embassy. I'm thinking about the Fortress.
Yeah, the Fortress.
Listen,
control.
bro, we said this yesterday. This is
Actually, I
my favorite
forgot
series
about
of the
that.
day.
Fortress
This is
control
my favorite
is
series
where
of
they
the
threw it
day.
away.
And the reason is because I said it yesterday. This team lives and dies by gunning. Like they win the fights, they'll win the series.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when they don't win the fights. They don't have no discipline. They literally have no discipline.
Yeah, I agree.
And it bites them in the ass. Some series they get away with it because they just win the fights anyway. But series like that Fortress map, I think it was Shotzi. That was a day one simple play to make to just win his team that map. He got impatient, just ran into the spawn for no reason. Could have just held the heady, lost his team the map. And I think just situations like that, when they play with no discipline, you can run over the teams who are clearly not as good as you when you play that way. But when you go up against a very disciplined Thieves team, you just get
in my defense, there was a lot of maps, by the way. So good on you to bring
it's
that
all
up.
good,
There
Chris.
was.
I mean, I think again, all these maps were close. I think OpTic could have a shot to win.
They should have won the series.
All
They should have
four
won
of
the
them
series.
potentially, but listen. I have been a record in saying that I thought OpTic was going to place top 6 this event. They got top 4. I don't think that's that bad considering they just formed. But to your point, the discipline thing's going to limit their consistently hitting their ceiling of winning events. Now they are going to go back to a major cycle where they're going to have a home event. We'll talk next week or later this week about their schedule because their schedule for Major 3 is kind of wild. They have a
hard
little tough
or
one.
easy?
Their schedule,
They're tough. They got to play
was hard. Their schedule was hard. Outside, if we take away, if we go back And we look at the results from Major 1. Their schedule was hard this
And
one.
they beat like people like Toronto and Faze Online.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like,
So,
like
I
this
mean,
team is good.
They're good.
They just made a couple of bad decisions in this series. They're going to need to clean that up. I do think that Inder kind of regressed a little bit from what we saw online when he was in Toronto. So a little bit of a concern there. I'm not a major concern, but
I think we
something
got what we
to know.
expected out of Hugh, though. Like, this is kind of what I expected Hugh to play
Kyler,
like.
Kyler,
A 0.8,
yeah.
a lot of engagements. That's what I expected Hugh to play like.
People are not going to want to hear this, but this team, I'm very curious to see how they do in Major 3 because I like the Kyler and Ant pace. I think it kind of makes sense. I don't know if Hugh is the final solution for the team to really get them to where they need to be. I think that's still a open case based on how he played this week.
I mean, we already said this, man. Like, unless like OpTic just comes out as like dominant or one of the best teams in the game, we already know who they want. We already know who they wanted. We already
They're not
know
going
what's
to get who
happen
they
in the
want, though.
offseason. They're in the offseason. They're going to get who
In
they
the
want.
offseason when he can walk for free,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying in general. Like, I don't know if this team, unless they just start to suffer and just go back to placing like shit. Like, this is going to be the roster for at least the remainder of the year. So.
Well, I mean, one thing they don't have to worry about is talent. I think when you have talent, you can always fix stuff like being disciplined. But I agree with Pat, man. We've been talking about OpTic and their discipline for like, what, 2 or 3 weeks now?
Yeah.
And just some of the plays they make, I mean, sometimes they get away with it because
It's like
of
almost
how,
mind-numbing.
like sometimes they get away with it because of how good they are,
They just bail themselves out,
talent-wise.
yeah.
They bail themselves out, but sometimes it's just like they have like brain farts and they just do things that they shouldn't be doing. And listen, man, they're not dumb. They definitely go back and watch these matches. We saw JP be pretty vocal about it on social, so you know that they know what they're doing wrong.
But
so
you just got to be able to make that play, that decision in the moment. And I think that's what they lack. They don't have the discipline to, in the moment, the close out the game, the winning play. They just don't make it.
But at the same time, they're not bad players. They are championship caliber players, so they have to be able to figure it out, Pat. I mean, do you think they can't figure it out?
Listen,
you don't
Tom,
think they can fix it?
I've always said
But they're going to
this.
live and die. I think this team's going to kind of live in. This is similar to the Boston problem.
This guy's quoting me.
I don't, what?
Is he cool?
What-
He
what-
was
what-
about
what-
to say they're going to live and die by the gunny. I was literally quoting
I
him.
was going to say Gunny by the ego child, but it's
Same
basically the same
shit.
thing.
That's the same
Basically
thing.
the same
You
thing.
can't live or die by the ego child.
I mean, here's what I'll say is
Not at this level.
I think they're going to get a Major 3 crowd boost. I was at ESA for Major 1. I can tell you it's pretty effing loud when all those OpTic fans are cheering in that building. So I think they're going to play pretty good that event. But like long term, are they like as organized as Faze and LA Thieves, who I think are probably going to be the teams that most likely be like sticking around the most of the year? I don't know. And I don't know if they can actually get there either.
And I think that's where LA Thieves just outshined them too. They just so
Thieves'
good
teamwork
together.
is so good,
Their
yeah.
teamwork, even when we go
The
into
comms,
listenings,
man.
yeah, their
Comms are
communication is
crazy.
on point. Octane's got the best comms in the league
Yeah.
for sure. Great small talk. But OpTic Texas, they get eliminated. They got a good place and they got top 4, but definitely want to see them clean up some of their mistakes if they want to start winning some more events. But after that one, LA Thieves, they knock OpTic out. We move on to the losers final. This is the Minnesota RØKKR going up against the Los Angeles Thieves. This series was
Swap the
quick.
screens.
I'll swap it for you guys. This series was really quick. This was a 3-0 for the LA Thieves.
This was a pure one team coming off a
I was
fire
gonna say the
win,
same thing.
and the other team coming off like a
Yeah.
heartbreak loss.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever a team comes through or is in winners and gets absolutely bodied, or Minnesota, they were up
Yeah.
5-3 and they kind of choked it and threw it away to Atlanta Faze. I feel like it kind of demoralized them a little bit, especially with how LA Thieves was coming through the losers bracket. They were 15-1
By
map
the end of
count.
the
Something
series,
absurd.
I
By the
think
end of
they
the
were like
series, they were.
17
So
or something.
it was just like unbelievable.
Ridiculous losers run.
No, they
Absurd.
were after first map. We were like, oh, they might be compromised.
But that's kind of my. I mean, look, I'm not gonna like hold this loss against them because obviously they just came off a heartbreaking loss. But
Yeah.
like, this is my fear with RØKKR is like they're capable of these series even when they aren't coming off heartbreaking losses. Where like
Yeah.
their slayers just get smoked. Like Bant still had he had a 1.3
Yeah.
in this,
Yeah.
and they got fried. But it's like the other stars on this team just did not even show up to the match.
Afro basically had like a 0.5. On
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like,
he didn't show up.
yeah, he didn't play.
But this is my problem with
This
this team.
this was Afro's worst series of the weekend.
But it's like my problem is, well, we already know Cammy's been playing bad. He's been in that 0.8 range. If Afro has a 0.5 series, even when you're getting 1.3 most kills production out of Bants, and you're still getting like Kentucky fried like this, I'm worried. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think eventually they probably just ran out of steam, bro. Like once,
it was a second match.
Well, yeah, but Minnesota's like riding a high of how they've been performing in the tournament.
they had a
and
heartbreaker game at
yeah,
round
and then
11.
they have a heartbreaking game 5. Like
Yeah.
it just puts a downer on you, and like I mean, they just couldn't regain. This was a steamroll out of Thieves.
What'd you
I
think,
mean, the
Ben?
second map was close on the hotel, but yeah,
That's it.
I'm
That was the
not.
only
Pat,
map that
Pat,
was
I know you're a RØKKR hater, but it's all good. I mean,
I'm not a RØKKR hater. I'm a CDL realist, Ben. That's the
no,
difference.
you're a hater.
I'm
but
a
it's all good.
CDL realist.
I think Chat would agree with me that you're a hater, but it's all
Chat
good.
will think I hate every team.
No,
That is true.
I mean, you are.
Except for Faze.
I mean, you're an OpTic
in
hater.
Toronto.
Not an OpTic hater.
Certified OpTic hater.
I'm literally just realistic. I literally just said OpTic should have beat the Thieves in the last series. They should have. And
Chat back me up on this.
you're asking for Chat to back you up.
I mean, I like that Pat stays true to his opinions, Pat. I like that you have
Appreciate
your
you,
strong
Tom.
opinions.
Real recognize real,
you
Tom.
know,
Ben does not.
I like that.
Bald
you know?
does not recognize real. But real
Get
recognizes
him,
real.
Ben will be going bald, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, since Atlanta Faze did win the tournament. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Sellium will be doing the deed as well. I think MC is going to be shaving your head, so
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. But, yeah, I think Pat could say things. I think, Pat, maybe sometimes your wording's not the best, you know? Maybe sometimes he'd be cooking
but
people.
It's open
listen-
for interpretation.
But I think like
That's all it
when we
is.
think about where teams net, Pat, I'll subscribe to the theory of like RØKKR are a good team, but like good team gets you maybe top 6, top 8 in today's CDL
Yeah.
because you can like still lose a match to Vegas like type deal. And it's not the diss on Vegas, but I don't know. I mean, I thought this was a really good showing from RØKKR. Again, considering what we had seen from them earlier in the year, they ran a momentum against a Thieves team that had a very typical run. And excited to see if we get their same RØKKR like in a month.
Yeah, I mean, in this one, Octane 14-4, second map in the S&D. Envoy went 32-15
They were
in
just
the
hoop
control.
They were,
Taping, bro.
yeah, they were good talks.
Really good maps out of them. So great series, and then obviously
I actually love this series for my fantasy.
they went crazy
yeah,
for your
they went
fantasy
crazy
team.
for my fantasy.
I don't
yeah.
even know. Do
They
you
might
guys
have me
even
first
know
now.
what you ended up placing in your
Nah,
fantasy
nah,
or
they're-
no?
they're probably
They'll
tweet
do
out.
at the end.
I was
I
third
got a lot
before
of
this.
points this weekend. Like I might be back in the top 4.
I did
Nah,
not.
I don't know.
If I
Because
make-
you won the last one. Did
I won
you
the
not?
last one. So if I go back to back, like
Listen, I'm anticipating that I won this one.
so to be fair, I not only won the last one, Tom. I had the #1 score worldwide for champs
That's
last
typical,
year too.
Ben. That's
First time I ever
typical.
played.
That's so
I
you're
got
1
first.
for 1.
No, I'm like 2 for 2.
Oh, okay. Wait, 2 for 2. You won again?
Well, I won champs last year overall, like in the world. I won that one, and I
Okay.
won the Twitter challenge.
That's typical.
one, so
That's
2 for
pretty
2.
typical. I'll give you that for
Yeah.
sure. Give it up to Benji and his team for that because he's 2 for 2 on a breaking point. But other than that, man, we go into the grand finals. LA Thieves, they end up taking down RØKKR. They go to the grand final to match up against Atlanta Faze. And in this one, this is where Atlanta Faze
Great
was able to
final.
take them down. Great final. Hey, the matches, or the maps were all really, really
Well,
close.
Can I kick this one off?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I think
Go ahead.
someone could back me up on this. I believe FaZe has won something like 16 of the last 17 S&D maps they played.
Damn.
That's absurd.
Like,
That's nuts.
And that was really a difference in this series, was just how clutch they were in search,
Especially because they
the
lost
comeback
they lost
on a
both hard
CeeLo.
points.
Yeah, they lost both hard points. The comeback on a CeeLo was really key. Also, like, these were so hot in control, and that control win out of FaZe, I think, was really clutch in this series. But, man, Simp was unreal in search this weekend. Obviously,
Yeah.
we talked a lot about
He was
BZ
crazy.
in search now for like 2.5 months. But Simp, this event turned up, and
I
for
just think
once,
this
the
team's
FaZe,
back in form.
well, both Tiny Terrors fried this weekend.
Yeah,
like,
well, we got performance out of all of them.
and all the ARs. I mean, Austin went like double pause last map. Like they're going rounding into form. I think the Austin pickup is vindicated now because of how good they look in
All
search.
right, I don't know why that pickup needed to be vindicated. That should have
Apparently it needed to be vindicated,
instantly.
people.
It's
I-
fucking slasher like.
Bro.
Yeah, as if like this guy hasn't won
Yeah.
multiple
Well,
times,
let's
world
explain like what it
championships.
means to their search, right? Because I think he's probably a much better mid-round. I'm not going to diss on Alec when I say this. I think Alec's a good player. I think Austin's probably a better mid-round search player. He's made a history of all of his teams kind of play the same style, but now he's on a team where they don't have to play full in that style. They can play some aggression. But this team's mid-round decision-making is unreal. The amount of crazy clutches that this series 1v2s based on just good decisions was insane. And just really the run in general and what they've done in S&D. And I
Yeah.
think, as they say, S&D wins championships. I think it did it here.
Yeah,
100%.
and I agree. The mid-round adjustments in search is where they're good. You know, spread the map. They get a kill or two, but it's just the decision-making that they do. And me, personally, I love when they play aggressive. I know we were talking about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
That
'cause-
round 11 insta plant.
Right, like
yeah.
the
I
insta-plant.
think that Asilo was just like getting really scary for them because they were letting like Thieves pick them apart, and
Yeah.
then they started turning up the aggression, and they started to bring it back. But I mean, dude, that 1v2 that BZ had was absurd. That was basically for the game. I mean, it was for the game.
It was for the game.
So I mean, Abizi, Simp, all those guys, they've just been frying, man.
Yeah, no, and I like how they adapted. Even some of the Faze guys on stage were talking about it. But just, LA Thieves, when they came out swinging, you just kind of read them a little bit, see how they're playing the map, and adapt to it. And I like when Faze kind of puts that pressure back at them, and runs
like
at them.
The hotel, like they won pretty convincingly, and like we were talking about it. We were looking at the meme map. I'm like, bro, what are these rounds? People are just going everywhere, and Thieves probably couldn't get a grasp on the team. They couldn't read anything they were doing.
Yeah, and Simp was unreal in S&D, man.
I will say in this series, FaZe did completely throw map 1. And when that happened, we're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I wasn't really too sure if they didn't communicate.
He made it up with the Asilo.
He made it up, but I was confused when Nabizi was on the hill at the end because Kenny was coming through back alley. He was putting shots down into his teammates, but he didn't turn. He never turned.
Yeah, he acted like he was worried about his mid. And Cell was literally mid holding his cross.
You think if there was red dots, he would have turned?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He would have looked if there was red dots. Yeah. So that's what makes me think something might have went wrong in the communication there. And
it was like 2 points. He may have thought he had enough, like he was safe.
Yeah, he might have had a lot of time. I don't know. And then, honestly, as the series went on, LA Thieves played through losers all day. I think they ran out of gas a little bit, too, towards the end.
I mean, when you play, like, how dominant they were, like, bro, they went 15-1 through losers. That's insane. That's hard to do.
They looked really good.
No matter who you are, that's hard to do.
You got to give them props for that, too. It's not easy to come all the way through losers, get to the grand final, and even win the grand final after a long day.
Think about, like, what LAG did, last year when they did it Major 2, they were clutching up game 5s, winning all their searches.
Well, they were winning all the searches.
Thieves just had a dominant every game mode. They were just frying everybody.
They beat our loser streak. Remember at AW champs, we won like a 12-0 map win spree?
Yeah, shout out Enable. He was cooking that day. He was cooking that day.
Shout out to Ian Enable. Ian Y, I know he was doing the watch parties and watching along. I'm sure he was rooting for LA Thieves.
He was chirping me in the DMs.
Why was he chirping
He chirped me in the DMs because the Knicks were getting railed in the first quarter, and then the Sixers blew a 21-point lead. The next one, so shout out that to Ian.
Shout out to Enable. But other than that, I think FaZe deserved this one. I felt like they were due. I felt like they've. It was like a 1 year drought from Atlanta FaZe.
No,
it was a well-earned
year and a half because the last time they won was Cold War champs.
It's been a while.
But they've been to a million. They've been to a million.
I mean,
finals.
they've still been a top 3 team. It's just they've been having problems just closing it out on a Sunday. So today. They close it out. Atlanta FaZe are your champions this weekend here in Boston. Simp was the MVP, right? I think he deserves it. He seemed a little confused when he got the MVP.
I think you could have went Simp or Beezy.
Simp or Beezy. You couldn't even get MC. Could have even had it maybe.
The reason it's hard to give it to MC is because like he's played at that level nonstop. Like to me, Cell doesn't improve. Like as crazy as that is, like he is consistently disgusting every event. But like Beezy and Simp went from underperforming in finals to absolutely world stars.
And those are going to be your impact players as well.
Simp, we've been waiting for Simp to be like popping off in series all year, and like I didn't give him the MVP.
I think the grand finals was the ultimate decider, and I think
the reason Simp got it too was the search performance.
Yeah,
search is what won them. Like you talked about it, they'd win 15 out of 16. Search is really what.
I think it's like 16 out of 17 on that searches.
Yeah,
I mean,
absurd. That's a crazy
S&D wins championships. I mean, if you're winning S&Ds like that, it's pretty crazy. And then on top of that, even we had the Challengers guys on. Team Decimate was able to take Challengers.
Fellow, Ghosty, Yuli, and Turiel.
Yeah. I mean, do you think
crazy Sunday run for them?
Crazy Sunday run. They came out of losers. Can you see them doing anything? Maybe getting on some teams in the CDL. I can see a lot of CDL teams changing right now.
I can see somebody going after Ghosty. I think that guy's a high impact.
Well, we'll see what Boston does because if
puts up a lot of kills, man.
Beans gets called up, they now have a spot on their team, right? Assuming that Beans replaces in. I don't know why Gersh is sitting on the couch, but anyway,
Gersh, what's up, bro? No trolling, Gersh. We're in the middle of a show, okay?
But anyway, with Beans probably replacing Zin, let's be straight up. Like that's probably the move they're gonna make. They might make another change.
Beans or Kremp?
They might make 2 changes, but that's.
I think they should make 2.
You think they should make 2? I think Kremp is really good.
I think Kremp is good too. I think Reese has statistically been underperforming, but I don't know how those guys feel about their team dynamic. They might go with like the Beans pickup and see how they can improve there, and if things fail to improve any further, they might look at other changes. But I think 1 for 1 right now is fine.
Well, they're definitely 1 for 1. I could definitely see Beans immediately stepping in and filling in that role. For Tony, anybody else that you see changing? Florida, London?
A lot of teams should.
Seattle?
But I don't know if teams will.
Yeah, I mean,
listen, Tom,
comes down to realistically who
I came out with
get.
the blow it up merch, and I might just start sending it to a few teams, just getting in there.
Imagine you're like
a free care pack.
Imagine you're Clay, and you just like open up your like mail, and all of a sudden blow it up.
Bro, there's some teams that need to. London, Florida, Seattle.
Yeah.
Vegas, like I think they need to change. I'm not faithful in them to do anything big this season. And,
Yeah.
LAG, do we know? I mean, obviously they just made a
Maybe
change.
they're so new, you know, it might be
That's what
hard
I'm
for
saying,
them.
But I know it's weird.
You might give them more opportunities for Major 3 and then
give
see
them a
what
little
happens.
longer, but I think
Yeah.
they're still on that radar because like they started so hot. They had that honeymoon. They were getting their map pick, everything, and teams were not playing to them. Teams figured them out, and they've just been on a decline ever since. So I don't know if they're going to stay on that decline or what, but I definitely think there are some teams that need to make some changes, and I hope they do in time for Major 3.
Agreed. I think we're going to actually see a lot of roster changes soon. I don't know why I have that feeling. Ben, what do you think?
I think we may see a couple. So I thought there'd be like maybe 4 or 5 after this major, and we'll see. I mean, the Sunday night conversations haven't happened yet, but it may be a couple this one and maybe more after Major 3. The Zen thing kind of speeds up a few things, right, on the Boston side, because that might have been a decision they were going to make later down the line. But now they've got to decide what they want to do there. I think there's probably like 3, 4, you could argue maybe 5 teams that probably showed or will make a change next month and a half. So,
And I'm pretty sure Zinni was going to retire either way, even if they won. It's been on his
that's
mind.
what he said on the couch when he came on.
I mean, I've been talking to him about it for a month or two now. You know,
Yeah.
it's been on his mind, and he said the same thing on stage when he's up
What'd you
there.
do?
It's been on his mind a little bit. You know, but shout out to Zinni. Shout out to Boston Breach for hosting such an incredible event and helping us get here. Ben, when are you going bald?
So you and I are talking, and I think we're going to Atlanta like at the end of February. We're going to do like a flank live from the Atlanta Faze facility, and we'll probably do it there. MC's going to shave my head. The Atlanta team said that they would help clean it up because I don't fucking trust MC to shave my head completely, so we're going to need a little bit of touch-up there.
But you can't really get that wrong, like
Yeah,
shaving somebody's
just
head.
listen. No, you need to walk in with a picture printed out of Walter White and say, "MC,
Listen,
this is what I want."
we got it sorted. I just can never trust MC, so.
MC will do a fantastic job
No, he's
shaving
not.
your head.
No, he's
I'm
not
excited
going there.
for it.
He's
Imagine
not
his
gonna-
comms while he's shaving it too.
Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. I can't wait.
It'll be good. It'll be good to stream.
Is us going to Atlanta like 100%? Is that a done
I
deal?
mean, Gersh, it's pretty. Like we had a meeting like last week. It's like.
We'll talk about it after the show. We'll see what's going on after. Jesus, this guy Ben is crazy, bro.
All right, well, Gersh can't put words together, but I think Tom. I think it pretty much. We'll talk after stream, but I
Yeah,
think
we'll
we're pretty
talk.
good.
We'll talk a little business.
There's
but
a lot of content we're gonna do.
a lot of content coming up, guys. There's a little rumor about the league going back to YouTube, so I'm not really too sure. It won't change anything with the flanks. We'll still be doing our shows. I just don't know how that's gonna affect the watch parties. Regardless, I'll still be live watch partying. I'll just have the full webcam on like I did the first year, which absolutely blows. But you know what, man? We've been through a lot of hurdles and a lot of roadblocks, and it never stopped us before. So we're just going to keep on making content and keep doing what we're doing.
No gameplay. Best watch party in the business.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey.
Appreciate you, Slay. Shout out to everybody who's been doing watch parties. I know Scump hit like over 100,000 viewers or something. He deserves all of that, man. He's been doing absolutely incredible work over in the content space, and it's been fun to watch them over there as well. And plus Enable, and dude, there's like, what, 30 co-streams? There's so many people that I feel like need to get some recognition
There's
here.
a lot in that alphabetical list that just so happened to put S before A.
Yeah, no, I'm last in line on that list. But yeah, shout out to everybody doing the watch parties. The content around Call of Duty has been incredible. I think we broke a record, right, Ben? 300,000, 290,000
Non-champs record. Non-champs
A
record.
non-champs record. We broke a
300,000
record.
viewers.
Top 2 of all viewership
All time in the
of
CDL.
all time of the CDL.
Number 1 was Modern Warfare 2019 Finals, which was like 300 something.
Yeah, which is incredible. I also knew Hector said something on stream today about there being a meeting with the league about this YouTube stuff. So maybe we'll
hopefully-
give maybe Hector can work some magic, or some guys over there can maybe the CDL teams can change their mind a little bit and
Or maybe
consult
at
with
least
them.
delay it till Major 4.
At least delay it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys updated with that. But hey, man, I want to give a huge shout out for the one time to a lot of people. But one, Ghost Energy. Huge shout out to Ghost. We would not be here without Ghost Energy. So make sure to go check out Ghost, man. If you guys want to get something, use code ZOOMAA. But I want to give a huge shout out to them because they helped us a
I
lot.
recommend the
in
Sour
getting here.
Patch flavor.
There's a lot. I like tropical mango. You like
The
the
Sour
Sour
Patch,
Patch.
that's
What do
fire.
you like, Chris? What's your
Sour
favorite
Patch
flavor?
was
Sour
good.
Patch. What do you like, Ben? What's your favorite
I like
Ghost flavor?
the Swedish fish.
The Swedish fish is fire.
That was
one,
good.
and we only have one more can left. We drank
We
through
literally
all
drank
of
all
them.
of the
We had to
guys.
leave the one can here.
I mean,
'cause,
Gersh drank most of them, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I want to give a huge shout out to Boston Breach. Boston hosted an incredible event, man. The venue looked crazy. I know we had some problems with security, but guys, that's not on Boston. You know, with the cold weather and security having to go home, you know,
they're just doing their job.
They're just doing their job,
man.
Can
I speak on this one real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like, this event, like, Boston did not have to give us gear. They did not have to give us a spot that we didn't really pay for. Like, they hooked us up hardcore, and I really want to get Watsons in the chat. They were super helpful throughout the weekend, dealing with things as they came up, the party, all that stuff. Like, they were great event hosts. We would love to come back. Really big shout out to
Hopefully not in February, though.
Yeah, obviously
it was very cold.
better weather, but shout out to the Auction Esports Helix guys, Boston Breach. Like, they were all incredible.
Yeah, shout out to
Esports Engine,
CDL. Shout out to the CDL, the COD League. They've shout out. I'm gonna get the Pepsi's last. Pepsi's last.
Also,
man.
shout out to the analyst desk. Shout out to Puckett for bringing me
Shout out to all the guests that came on.
Tactical
shout out to all
Raps,
the guests.
I can't name all of them.
There was a lot of guests, man. We had casters, we had creators, we had players. We had a lot of people come on. We had
Spence.
We had viewers. We had Spin Spence. We had people from Boston come
Brett
on.
Diamond
came on. The CEO. He's
we had a bunch of
RØKKR.
non-esports people from like DraftKings, Craft Sports Group, like the Patriots. Just a lot. I was always like, we like to run this with a lot of guests. You never know who's going to be on, and I'm so happy that we have like 25 guests come on.
It was a really good weekend, man. We had some hurdles, but we got through it, and it was incredible. And then, of course, best for last. I was going to save it for last. But Bepsi, I know you're watching right now. I see you in the chat. We would be lost without Bepsi, ladies and gentlemen. He's the guy who comes here and sets everything up, and he comes here lugging big-ass baggages and suitcases with all bunch of monitors, equipments, lights, mix amps, headsets. Bepsi really pulled through for us once again, and I really want to show some love to him. He actually got sick this weekend, so that's my guy right there. We've been worried about him because he's been sick, but I need everybody in the chat spamming Wepsi because without Bepsi, we would not be here right now. So huge shout out to him. Everything worked great this weekend. And then, yeah, man, that's it. This is going to be a wrap. We had a lot of fun. And we hope to do it again in the next one. We'll keep you guys updated kind of what's going on. But as always, man, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, anchor.fm/theflank. To check out all the audio sites that we've been on, go follow @theflank. Gersh doing a phenomenal job running socials with that whack-ass shirt that he got made for us.
Whack shirt. Bro, he was having up this big surprise all weekend. It was these fucking shirts.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like something cool.
Listen, Gersh, this shirt is fire. But everyone needs to go over to my pin tweet, get the Blow It Up merch, and use code Blow It Up for $5 off your hoodie and your shirt. Live right now. Code expires tomorrow, so make sure to get it time back to you.
Use code Blow It Up. Go get your Blow It Up merch, ladies and gentlemen. Go check Pat's pin tweet. But guys, thank you so much. Most importantly, the last but not least, I want to thank everybody in the chat, bro. The ZooMAFIA, bro. The whole weekend, the energy in here was unbelievable, bro. To watch parties, the shows, and even around us at the setup, man, we had energy going on like crazy. We had a VIP party being thrown right around the couch. So, dude, it was insane. It was awesome meeting a lot of you guys, man. So, just thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys so much for all the support. We wouldn't be here without y'all, and you guys just make this so much easier, man. Just thank you for all the energy in the chat all weekend. And you guys already know, man, we're going to be live like crazy throughout the week. We're going to be live every day, making content, continue to do what we do. But just thank you guys, man, because without y'all, we wouldn't be here. So thank you to you guys. Thank you for supporting. I love you guys very much. And as always, man, take care, brush your hair.
Except Ben, because he can't brush it anymore.
He can't brush his hair anymore. And it's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We're out. Later, guys. Peace out. We'll see you guys next time, man. We're actually going to do a tier list episode during the week. You guys down? We're going to make a tier list. So stay tuned for that. Love you guys, and we're out, man. Take it easy. Good night.